Now it's recording.
Good evening.
Smile. Smile, Brian.
Oh, no, I'm not smiling.
Actually, just, we never had this one change.
Yeah.
I guess I can leave. I already got my answer answered. I mean, my
But
question
you might miss
answered.
the excitement.
Huh?
But you might miss the excitement.
I know. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna listen.
Yes, you need you guys.
This one's tough.
Okay, Alex.
No, I'm okay. I'm just sitting on it.
Hi, partner.
Why are you so smiling, man?
I'm not smiling. Oh, you?
How are you doing? Mark.
Yeah.
Before you have.
That is another thing that's all right. Change orders.
It's not streaming, so. you're not gonna
You can edit.
You're not supposed to edit. I mean.
Building.
I'm working on it right now.
This is recording.
Did you see that Michael in the post office?
Come on, station people like come on about.
I've ran through downtown.
Oh, did you?
You know what?
It took you a while, right, to get through the traffic jam?
There and back.
Michael, do you know David Jackson? The
Yep.
one that has that Oscar
I
coach
need
that we're gonna get to.
No, this is me.
Joanne, what did Joanne do? Go there. You're gonna crash.
Now he knows.
Okay, we're gonna get started. Do you see any additions or corrections to the meetings from last month?
Good.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Tony?
Okay, for the Kiwanis Fire Department for the month of May, we had one town call for a fire, 2 medicals, 1 rescue, extrication, 7 activities, 2 mutual aids, and using approximately 1,000 gallons of water for 276 hours volunteered. Our drill was physical fitness activities, just, that's all we did at the station, worked around those kinds of things, different firefighter ground tactics that we just did over and over again for repeatability. Just giving the board a brief report, our annual fundraiser that we had over Memorial Day weekend, we served 602 people and approximately $4,500 net donations. So those will go to new boots and or thermal imaging camera, which we're working towards right now.
Is that about average?
Number was down maybe 25 to 30 people
Not bad.
comparatively, but donations are hard with hours. Not a problem with that. We're running that other fundraiser kind of simultaneously. I know that's been a direct mailing that went to everybody in the area, so it's understandable if they gave to that, not to do as much here, vice versa. So, for the board, want to bring up a couple things. First thing is June 23rd, we're having our air packs tested, flow testing. We'll do it every other year. Something we've always done, so just let you know that that's coming in this month. And in July, we're going to do the annual pump testing, which is for ISO rating. Our engines both will do that. Rochester Fire has offered to have it all housed over in Rochester. They pay the trip charge, and we just can take our truck over and come back. So not every department in the county has to pay this trip charge and things like that. So we're going to take advantage of that. So, and the one question I had for the board is I was reached out or an email today from an individual in the northern part of the state. The community room was designated as a cooling center last summer. I'm just asking both boards if they're okay with us putting us on the map for that cooling center again. I don't know what it entails, but that we're just noted as that if the temperatures get extreme, so
Yeah.
if the board's approval for that, the community room to do that. So. Okay. Does the board have any questions? Me? Got a lot of classes going on. Actually, 4 people are over Rochester right now. Parkview is doing a emergency medical responder course. So,
Oh, are they?
like the contract suggested, so we have 4 people getting their first responder right now, so.
Good, good.
Well, no questions, that's my report.
I don't know, you guys have anything?
No, that'll be it, thank you.
Thank you. Brian?
Yes, sir. Let's see, there's a bunch of warnings on there. About half of those were, not quite half, were ordinance violations. A couple of them were speed, the rest were ordinance. Most, everybody except for one house, I got a resend because I sent it to the wrong name because I went off my records from last October. Was the last time I sent some stuff out and I used that information, so I gotta send another one. So, that's why I was asking her when I came in about the name change, because I looked it back up and like, oh, that's not what it said. So, I'll get that taken care of. That's the only one, I think everybody else come in compliance, I'm missing somebody let me know, but,
I think I have a phone number.
yeah, but she's not even listed as property owner anymore. She's nowhere on there.
That doesn't mean she's not.
There wasn't a vehicle there today when I was driving by, so I don't know who's actually there or not, so. Other than that, calls are, about average for this time of year. I'm sure as, summer goes on, it gets warmer, it stays warmer, not raining, they'll pick up a little bit more. Kat did come back to work, she worked night shift for me the other night. She'd been on vacation. I'd asked her to work, and she's still, yeah, and then she called me and said, hey, I can't work that day. I forgot, we're gonna be out of state for a week. Oh, can I come in next? I'm like, yeah, sure. Just, put yourself in. So she came in, she worked, she didn't really, I think she had 1 or 2 calls, that's about it. Most of them were assist. One of them was anyway. Let's see. I'm still waiting on stuff for the guys, like I said in my report. It's like I went up there, and I'm like, hey, I ordered this stuff. Oh, well, we can't find the pants. And I'm like, how do you not know where the pants are that I ordered like a month and a half ago,
Yeah.
2 months ago? We'll work on it for you. I'm like, oh, thank you, Mandy the manager. I'm taking your business card, so I know who to call next time. I mean, they were super nice, and it wasn't their
Yeah.
fault they didn't have it, but it's like, they said it was shipping, and we can't find if we ever got it or not. And I'm like, so they're supposed to get back with me. I figure if I don't hear anything from them by Monday, I'll just give them a call and see where that's at, because I was hoping to have the rest of it, or some more of it back by today, I was hoping, because they thought it might be kind of easy if they could find it. The one thing that it's minor, I can't really talk about, discuss that. Alec, I mentioned you in here, you were talking to me about the foundation, and maybe.
Yeah, getting a grant.
Yeah, maybe doing a grant, trying to offset some of our equipment costs, like that, maybe something like that. So, he and I were gonna sit down and make a list and try to come up with maybe some stuff we can try to get funded where it kind of doesn't make such a big burden on the town, if we can get some grants, so why are you giving me a weird look like that?
I'm sorry, I was looking at that.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, it's a couple seconds behind, so.
Sorry.
You're all right. I thought you turned your head like
No.
you had a question.
Put in your calendar next year, this would be for next year, to apply for the Fulton County, apply for the Kiwanis Endowment Fund grant. And that probably has like a $2,000-3,000 spend,
Oh,
and it hardly gets applied for.
really?
The deadline on that is May 2nd.
Okay. And that usually opens up like January 1 then, or sometime January?
Pretty much. I'm not entirely sure.
You gotta
have to
That's how
double check
our
it.
ice rescue season.
Is it? Cool.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with people that apply for it, but it just doesn't get utilized like it should.
Okay. Thank you.
They actually reached out to me once, because they didn't have any applicants.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Great, thank you. Boom.
I get it all.
It's not a huge amount, but.
Oh, just-
It's easy to do.
Yeah,
Well,
if you're
that's
talking
good.
vest or something like
Well,
that.
that's for like $1,600, $1,700
Good
bucks.
fit.
So it's perfect.
Ooh,
I
that's
got a
perfect
bet,
for it.
you know?
Yep.
And that's a burden off of our budget, so.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah,
the
thanks.
2 new guys, they have to complete outfit, that's that much money, plus mine expires. I think it is expired, but I don't want to get shot, so I'm not worried about that.
Please,
It's expensive.
stop saying that.
Well, there's nothing wrong with doing what you're talking about doing, but even if it's not vest, if it's other stuff, yeah.
We were gonna try to make it a list of equipment that we were gonna need, obviously, stuff like, hey, we're gonna need this, we're gonna, well, he needs a vest. We guys had to buy 2, series expires in December, so it's like, well, that's budgeted though for this year. That one was already budgeted, so I'm not worried about that one. But yeah, it's like, little grants like that, I mean, they don't have to be thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well,
What?
RMC used to have
I did one, that's when we got our radar unit for our car, was from our EDC
Ron
project.
Grant,
Yeah,
they do quarterly.
yeah, that was like $600 for a handle or whatever. I forgot about that. I'm gonna write that down too. So yeah, we'll work on some of that stuff and see if we can just kind of help our, with that meeting we had about, shortcomings with, budgets in the next couple of years, so. What's that?
That's it, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I think it's about it. I didn't really have any, everything isn't going bad unless there's something you can think of, Alec, that I've missed or that we need to bring up. Cool, I appreciate it, man.
All right,
Any questions?
thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, you have a question?
There's a reason why I'm here today after 12 years. I've been back and forth, and for one of these residents of Fulton County of 12 years, I'm trying to do things the proper way.
Okay, cool.
And I've been running across a lot of walls and different answers and being sent in circles with Rochester and the permit and zoning ordinance out there and Kiwanis zoning and ordinances. A lot of people in this town know, on the corner of Park and Smith, I'm trying to put a fence in because I have very good reasons I don't want to share today, but I need that fence. But I have a fire hydrant there, and I had different measurements from right-of-ways. But I found in Section 5 and Article 22, if I'm reading that correctly, what Fulton County has been updated of January 2025, and it really offsets every single thing I've been told, except the young lady here. So I need to know what those, they want me to fence in up to like a foot from my final site. So we're having an issue.
Unfortunately, as law enforcement, that's not something that I do as far as property lines and how far you have to be up right of ways. That's something more.
For Fulton County zoning control.
But then you're getting to run around from them.
Yes, because that day I had spoken to some people, and I had Gary from Rochester, the last and final say after all the permits and everything I've done. He said, well, Kiwanis, ordinance, zoning, whatever, would supersede, this word, that's the word he used, supersede whatever we're ordinancing you. So I came here and told her that, and she says, no, we've never done this before, and I feel like they're just, I'm all over the place.
When you get down to fences, you need to go to Fulton County Planning,
I did.
and that's who has the final
And
word.
Heather is on vacation until the night.
Then you're gonna probably have to wait till.
But they're telling me that's literally to enclose my property, I can go like this and touch my house to where they want me to close the $4,000 of fencing. They want me to close just my house. I have 8 grandchildren, so I want to keep them safe considering my livestock got killed. And I just want my lawn with kids now, since I'm on a corner, it's that one, I can't do anything. But I'm well clear if anyone wants to drive by. I have some stakes out there, haven't put in yet because I'm trying to do the right thing and wait until Heather shows up. But if Kiwanis never had a problem and people are over barricading other areas that they don't have zoning permits for or didn't even call 811 to put their properties on, and I don't want to get into some vacate process, all I just want is a fence. I can't even enclose the back part. I don't know if you all know what's going on yet, but it's a big issue behind my house and other properties there. It's like, they say 32 feet from a 60-foot highway. Well, if anyone wants to go out and measure, Road 17 is about 60 feet. These side streets in Kiwanis town, I measured my road is 18 foot. But Kiwanis ordinance zone says updated that Kiwanis, the inner city, some parts is gonna be 32 as in front on Smith Street, but on Park Street, oh, it was an error, they said. So if that error is what came about and me trying to figure out what our right-of-way was and how many feet, people's been paying vacate money to get property from their error and having to pay to build on, you know what I'm saying? If they're saying 32 feet, but the road is only 18 foot, they really already owned what they had to pay to vacate on. I just unpanned a can of worms, just trying to figure out.
Well, there is a process for variance, but that's through.
Right, right, but
the planning.
they're saying that they own 3/4 of my land, and I said, well,
Have
I'm
you-
paying property
have you-
tax.
Have
They
you
can pay
taken-
property tax on the 3/4 of grass they say I can't build on.
Have you had your property surveyed,
Yes,
so you know where the property lines
yes,
are?
yes.
Shouldn't be a problem.
But that's who we go by as the planning.
Well, they're planning, and what their Rochester saying my right of way is, and what is online and updated January 25 is not correct. They're saying 3 feet from the sidewalk. I already got 3 feet from the sidewalk and gave them an extra 3 feet, because even though it'll say 2.5 feet from any water pump or something, so I'm already 6 foot from there down to a pole by the end of my garage that's already been there. So where do I go from here?
Back to the zoning and ask for a variance.
You need to talk to him.
I have to pay for a variance for land that I already own. I shouldn't have to go pay for something that they're saying is a 32-foot, and it's not, because that's on a 60-foot road.
They need to look at your property line and all that. And get it figured out. Heather's the one you're gonna have to talk to.
They told me to come over here and show up on a Thursday and explain this, and I
Right.
feel I'm just, right, it's,
And
this is what,
I'm
this is what you
not
get for
trying.
trying to do it the right way.
Well, yeah,
But the right way is to go to planning, deal with Heather, just Heather. And, and then if she tells you that, it's possible you may obtain a variance.
But
then
they
you'll have to
already
go through
found the
that
error.
process.
They already found the error though.
But
Why
that's
can't
not
somebody-
something we control. I understand. I
And why would
understand
they
it's
say you
frustrating.
guys supersede
I don't know
them?
why they would tell you that, but I'm
Only-
just saying, we don't have.
Gary said that you guys can supersede what they say.
no.
And she,
No.
right, she
Not,
says,
not
no, we
till you go
never.
through all the process.
No.
I gave the
We-
guy, I
we-
gave you Gary's number and told you, this is exactly what he
Well,
said, just
But
confirm it
but
with
you're
him.
gonna have to talk with Heather because he works for Heather. He doesn't work for us.
It's like everybody's just got different numbers, and I just don't know, this is just a pain. But thanks all for listening.
I mean, I'm sorry, but
Sorry.
that's the best
I was
place.
hoping to get some answer, like I've been waiting 3
Yes.
weeks with all this wood in my driveway, and while other people are building things that they don't even have permits for, it's frustrating.
I understand.
Sure.
I'm sorry for the straight answer. I mean, but like they said, that's, when I have a issue and somebody says that's the lady I have to call as well, so I have to call Heather.
Ma'am, if you want to leave me your name and contact information, I apologize for being late. I'm the plan commission attorney as well as their attorney. If you want to write in your contact information, I'll reach out to Heather and someone will
She's
get
on
in touch.
vacation until the 9th, it's just,
Well, I can talk with someone else over there
Okay.
and
Okay.
just at least figure out some background.
I'm just frustrated.
I understand.
And I just lost
Yeah.
my granddaughter, so I'm just a little bit
I'm so sorry.
emotional.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, move on, Steve.
Okay, the water department conducted daily chlorine residuals last month and tested and routine water quality sampling. We inspected and maintained plant equipment. Addressing any minor issues, we installed 15 radio antennas switching from the touch reach. We sprayed weeds at the water
Thank you.
treatment plant. We trained the summer help on operating our small tractor. We attended the Akron Operator Expo. The wastewater department, we performed routine lagoon checks and general maintenance on our infrastructure, sprayed weeds around the lagoons, cleaned and organized the Quonset building. The street department mowed town lots, filled potholes, swept streets, cleared debris, and trimmed up branches and cleaned and trimmed up Toner Park. We hung Memorial Day flags, maintained the mower, and trained the summer help on the dump truck how to operate. The town pumped 817,500 gallons last month.
Sounds good.
I do have a request. I request approval for an expenditure exceeding $500 for Pro Tree Service and TAM excavating to address an urgent issue in our ongoing infrastructure work. As superintendent, I'm committed to following the budget guidelines. And I halted the Pro Tree Service when it exceeded the $500 limit. We're in the middle of cleaning and jetting the storm drain on Highway 17 to maintain a proper drainage and prevent flooding. We hit a roadblock when we found a tree growing over the drain tile, which needs professionally removed to continue the project without risking damage or delays. I contacted Pro Tree Service and TAM excavating, but stopped the work to comply with the spending limit. To make the tree service visit cost effective, I also planned on addressing 2 safety issues on Smith Street. On Smith Street, a large hanging limb over the road is a hazard we can't safely remove ourselves. On North Smith Street, the tree canopy is too low, preventing semi-trucks from passing safely, which poses a traffic risk. Bundling these 2 tasks into one visit reduces the tree service travel costs and addresses immediate safety concerns for our residents and drivers. I'm requesting approval to proceed with the tree service estimated at $1,100 and the TAM excavating estimate at $3,340.80 to complete the storm drain project and resolve these safety hazards. The work is critical to keep Highway 17's drainage system on track and ensure safe roads to avoid similar situations in the future. I'd like to suggest a process for emergency expenditures like quick approval from the board, chair, or the clerk to balance urgency over oversight. I'm happy to provide more details or documents. Thanks for considering my request.
The money for those 2? Yeah, I don't think there's a problem.
I don't have a problem.
Phil,
Yeah, it's fine.
go ahead. You want to do a motion? I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Do you want like, maybe something to think about going forward would be, under an emergency situation like that, you can give kind of a tentative approval for $5,000 and less.
But it needs to be an emergency.
Yeah, I mean.
What
we
you
still talk-
got here is not an emergency. Maybe that limb. It's not an emergency that had to be done tomorrow or yesterday. But it's something that we need to address and do. That's where the difference is. If it's an emergency, we know we can give you the approval under those circumstances. But under a normal, the tree canopy and removing the tree is not an emergency. Is the way I look at it. You know, if a tree falls across the road or something, yeah, that's an emergency. That's something we would address and do right away. You wouldn't have to wait. But when it's just the normal maintenance kind of stuff, is what you gotta wait for board approval.
Thank you.
You know, just the way it has to be. Because you can talk to each one of us separate and get the okay and go with it on an emergency. Or I can call them or whatever and say, this is an emergency, we need to get it done now, and it's not gonna be a problem. But everybody needs to know what's going on before, one of us just can't say, go ahead and do it. Not trying to be mean or nothing, but, you know, that's just the way it has to be.
Well, maybe we could set up for emergency then, where, if something happens, you don't have to wait at all.
But it has to be an emergency, not normal maintenance or,
Sounds good.
you know. Anything else?
That's it. Any questions?
David?
I'm just here to
You're
listen.
just
You're
here?
to listen. I'm
Hello?
probably gonna piggyback off of Laura's.
I I just wanted to address one thing that we really need for Neighbor Day. I don't know if the town has access to any picnic tables.
No, it'd be a township you'd have to talk to about down the park.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, and who would that be that I talked to?
Tammy,
Your.
Tammy Vogel,
Tammy
trustee.
Vogel.
or
Oh,
Tammy
okay,
Out.
okay.
Would be who you'd have to talk to, if you could use them or not. The
Okay.
town doesn't have any.
Okay, I'll call Tammy, I know Tammy. And, so yeah, we're just getting geared up and, Mark Davis, who owns the Kiwanis Diner, is gonna handle all of the food, except David's family is gonna have hot dogs, but Mark.
No ribs?
No, Mark is gonna
Mm.
have those. I think he needs a boost, the guy that owns the Kiwanis Diner. And, but David pointed out, we really need something affordable, for
Yeah.
something that's just like,
Yeah.
you can walk.
Some kid,
Yeah.
There ain't no real money with just something that they can have.
Hey, I like hot dogs too.
Yeah,
There ain't no kid no more.
But Mark's gonna have, I think ribs, pulled pork, and then, coleslaw, potato salad, and he's gonna have pie and cake and maybe ice cream. So he's really stepping up and handling all the food, which I think that's good for him, because he really needs to
Needs it, yeah.
to be part of the community. And, I guess that's it, the picnic tables were the main thing I could think of. I think Chad at Kiwanis Screen Printing is gonna make us a banner. And so we're just hoping everybody comes out and has fun. And we've also been working, Michael Ladd is here, and we've been working with him through the Heartery. We're trying to get a grant to get our ceiling problem fixed. We've been shut down. And also Pearl has been having a problem, the deck that's on the side of the building, the newer building behind the Kibitzer, that, where Diane's paintings are. The pilings that they poured for the posts on the deck are all eroding really quickly. And so if that deck starts pulling away on that building, it's really gonna be bad. So I'm waiting on a bid on that. And then David's gonna put, quite a bit of money into making his stage and restoring his boxcar and everything. So we've gotten as many prices as we can to Michael, and he's trying to help us through Fedco to get a grant and try to get Kiwanis on the map and try to get things going. So, and Michael, and I'll just turn it over to you, but I think as we think of things now, we should be sort of in the system now, and maybe Michael can help us in the future as we go.
You guys are familiar with the Ready To project?
Kinda,
That
not
state
a
did.
lot.
Well,
State.
the state, under the previous governor, had created this Ready project that, we got one project, I think it was Apache Drive in Rochester. Ready 2 came along, which we're into right now, and as soon as Mike Braun became governor, he froze the funds. And at the same time, Lilly had come in and donated $250,000 to Ready projects. Of course, when the Ready money was frozen, Lilly froze their funds too. Okay, last week I sat in on a meeting with the Secretary of Commerce, and the funds are now unfrozen. They figured out that they have a $2.4 billion hole in the Medicaid budget. That's why they froze everything. They wanted to figure out what the budget would look like.
Yeah.
They've got that taken care of, so now they're gonna move forward. There's two sections to the Lilly money. And the Lilly money is divided equally between what they call blight reduction and arts and culture. Blight reduction was frozen until, at Lilly's request, until the arts and culture portion of it came together. What I mean by that is that we belong to a 6-county regional planning group, and Lily wants us to have a 6-county ARC strategy, whatever that means at the end of the day, I'm sorry. It's almost complete. And so they're unfreezing the money for us. Talked with Lori and decided that I wanted to focus on Kiwanis and the art program down here and try and help it, bring it back, whatnot. And so, as Lori said, we're gonna concentrate on the start with the Hardery and across the street. So I just wanted to bring you up to date on, we'll be applying for probably about $65,000 to start with. We're finding out also, because there was concern about it, there might be a Ready 3 or a Braun 1 or something, but there'll be something coming down the road, we think. So I just wanted to let you know, I promised I'd come to you whenever something good was happening. As soon as the blight reduction money is freed up, I'll be back and I want to talk to you about what projects you guys want to run.
So we have turned a lot of that over to Gail Caress.
Yeah.
She's the more or less spokesman kind of for the town.
Okay.
So you need to keep her involved in all this, because she's kind of gung ho and wanting to revitalize downtown Kiwanis.
Yeah, I know. The problem with that is that she did submit a request, but she didn't submit a budget and no financial request, no demand of
Yeah,
how much money.
well, that's what her and I met with Stephen Ray last week. And
Okay.
that's what he said, for a budget,
Yeah,
everything that we
because
can do.
These things move into the regional group, and my counterparts and I, we rank 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
The last time we did it with the Ready, we got the 2 projects, and I'm hoping that we can get the 2, because there's one in Rochester at the theater, and I want to take the Hardery as the second one,
Yeah.
actually, to start with. You eat an elephant in bites, and that's what we're going to be doing, so. That's just
You know,
what
you gotta
know.
work, you two gotta work together.
Okay.
To know what she needs to do and what she needs to get you and, you know, so.
No, I didn't know that she had been designated that or anything.
Yeah, and I sent you an email, I think, here a while back.
I missed it.
I think it was when you done the red meeting.
Okay.
And I see you're having an update, but
Yeah.
Pam wasn't included in that email, or she wasn't, and Lori was.
I'll have to go back and look and see.
Because, you know, everybody
Well, the
works
state can.
jobs, and the sooner they know something's
Yeah.
coming,
Oh, I know.
then they can get the plan to show up,
Yeah.
you know. It's just hard that way.
No, I'll go back and see who was invited.
But I
Because I know there was a list that.
Yeah, I went through them, and Lori wasn't on there, and the town wasn't on it, and Gail wasn't on it.
Okay.
So,
Can I ask what your plan for the 65,000? What you want to get accomplished with that?
The needs for the Hardery and across the street in the park.
Okay. The
You're
reason
not
why
gonna,
the
we're
reason
not
why I
gonna
say-
get the 65,000, I can guarantee.
The reason why I say that is, you know, you have the community foundation, 65,000 would fit pretty well into either of the larger
I work with
grants.
them all the time.
Well, then, that would be a good resource that where you could
Oh, I
actually
know.
get something and get
Because
something.
we have to have
going.
match money and,
Sure.
public and private match
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
well,
And then one
for
of
the community foundation,
Mhm.
no, you don't.
No, for the Reading
For
project.
yours, you may, but theirs, I
Well,
think
that becomes a
it's
whole
gonna be a
different-
whole lot faster
No, I've
process.
talked with them, that's a whole different issue. That's-
Well, the
for
only
me.
reason why I mentioned that is because I was on the foundation for 12 years.
I understand.
So I have a little insight in it.
I'm willing to,
But if
I'll
you
take
can
money
get it
wherever I
broken
can.
down to projects, that's a good place to go. They like that stuff.
Yeah, that's what, I already had bids for the Hardery, and David got his act together real quick and got a concrete estimate, and so, yeah, I'm kind of used to that.
And the
'cause I'm a
Hardery's a
construction-
501c3, so
Yeah.
that's perfect. That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah,
So, yeah, and they look for that stuff year round. So,
yeah. So, yeah,
If you
we're
can-
working on it. and-
yeah, if you can break it down into smaller chunks, you know, as opposed to one lump is the 65, that's, that probably could be pretty worthwhile for you guys.
Yeah, we are working hard to get that. And then we also want to add a kitchenette. And so we had numbers for rough-in plumbing and to update the wiring. And so Michael has those numbers too. So,
Sounds good.
yeah.
You're
And then I
everybody
really,
gonna work together.
I really want to help Pearl out if we can on that foundation problem because, you know, Diane's legacy is a big part of the arts in Kiwanis. And we're hoping that Pearl will eventually say, yeah, we're where Diane's studio was, and we all had our art workshops. We're just hoping that she will want to
Continue.
open that up and continue with classes and workshops and things good. And Michael was saying that that was key to getting these arts grants, to have workshops and places for artists to stay, and so,
Yeah, Diane was good at that.
yes, she was. She was. We also, I knew it was gonna be hard to get a bid on only it's just 5 pilings. So to get a concrete guy over here to do 5 pilings, I thought that's gonna be hard. And I didn't really know how this worked, but I said to Pearl, I said, let's measure your sidewalk in front of the bungalow too, because it's really bad. And maybe, you know, that'll get the concrete guy over here to bid things.
You hope. We have trouble getting them to come.
I know, it is hard, and I'm waiting. I sent all the measured drawings and pictures and everything, and good, so he's supposed to get back with me this week. But then Michael said the sidewalks don't fit into that particular niche. I don't know how all this works. I'm learning as I go. But yeah, we're just starting to work together and work on it, so.
And I'm waiting for I'll get with Fry, which from the state, to make sure what's my elevation. I don't want to use the word stage. That's the first word. So whatever I'm going to do is going to be an elevated platform. So that's what I'm looking at now. I got the bid for Brooks Concrete, Todd Brooks, so he's gave us a bid. So I'm going to see where he's at and see what we can do. And I'd like to at least start construction next couple of months.
Sounds good.
Just get that in there. So if I was to ask you, is there this might be a question. If we, say I already paid for it, is there reimbursed, is there such thing as that? To reimburse the?
What you've already paid for would be considered part of the contribution, your private contribution, which we have to have. So no, you're not gonna get reimbursed.
Oh, I'm not for the whole, I don't know if they had a match or anything like that, I'm just asking.
No, you'll be matching the Lily money coming in.
Okay.
But you already placed that caboose there, so that would be looked at as.
That can be a match too.
Yeah.
Okay, because just to say, what I, even buying the property, tearing down, cleaning up, my property had $30,000 or $40,000.
Well, even if the community went out and fixed the sidewalks in front of it, that becomes match, public match, which you're gonna need anyway. So you might consider that. Let me know what the cost would be, so I can put that into the budget.
Just to really understand, so if I went on ahead, say I built the stage next week, there's no match money for that, or there, okay, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so I have to literally wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just listen,
You
let's
want
not get too
their-
anxious.
You want their money, not
Nothing,
yours.
nothing comes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
especially when you're dealing with the state.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got their own rules.
Boy,
seems
don't
like.
they.
Too many hurdles to jump and too much red tape, but you can't let it go.
No.
That's the bad thing. You know, it's like the grant we got for the water system. It's a pain to do, but yet, how can you turn it away? You know, they've got their own ways of doing things and what they gotta have.
By the same token though, if you start on the project just a little bit, that means you're committed to the project, and Lily and the state look at that and say, okay,
You're committed,
he's serious.
basically, yeah.
Because I've got people who, I'm not gonna start the project till I know if I got the money.
Yeah.
Well, you're not gonna get the project,
No,
because you're not
no.
committed to the.
You've gotta show
Yeah,
some effort that you're actually gonna do it.
you got it.
They're-
Yeah.
They gotta make the money
Mhm.
go everywhere.
Well,
So just start at a little bit.
I gotta figure out what a little bit for me.
$5. Go out there, read, eat.
Yeah.
Anything else, Michael?
No, that's it.
All right. Dicey? Bob? Barb? All right, we'll move on to our other business. Darren? How's it going?
It's going well.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
We love him.
Well, thank you.
He picks it up.
Keep it up.
Secret way.
Okay, we got. What do we need to do? Hmm?
That's what executive session, we have just interviews people.
So all we need to do is sign it, or do we?
Yeah. Sign it and say it, or
Okay.
All we done was
Thank you,
interviews.
Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
I did that first, and I've got that here. No, it's, they can sign it tonight, right? Yeah. They introduced it.
Last thing, now we have to read it. Then
You can read it by title only.
It's here somewhere.
right here, these three, the ordinances. we're talking about. Okay, the first one is ordinance number 050125-A, ordinance amending the charges for the town of Kiwanis Municipality Waterworks. If somebody wants to, bill, and they needed water or sewage, that's what this is. It takes the cost out, we're taking the cost out, because it costs us more. Do we need a motion on that to approve?
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
Water. Is the first one. Then we got another ordinance 050125-B. It's an ordinance to amending the charges of the town of Kiwanis Municipality Sewage Works, which is the same thing as what the water is. And we've raised the charge if somebody wants to come in on a new building. All in favor? I make a motion.
I make a motion.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Now we've got change orders from Commonwealth on the water project. This is an extension. I think you both got copies of it for the time. Correct, and it's extra money because they've extended it, the deadline, $56,300. We need a motion on that.
Do they have a date on that?
August what, 17th and
Yeah.
September
19th, was it?
19th, something
Yeah.
like that. Hmm?
Those dates.
Completion dates
Done.
for the project.
This year?
Yeah.
What day was it?
Yeah,
I think it's September 19th.
there's an August 17th and then a September. I don't know what the two, I don't know if one was the first and then the other one, September's the final. Okay, or,
And I believe they're gonna start finding the construction if they don't
yeah,
complete it during that day.
so we need a motion.
I'll make a motion on that conditional.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. What's that message?
Okay, change order request in the amount of $18,908. I'm not really sure about that. The first is an SRF disbursement number 28 for 18 through April 30. These are paid disbursements of $18,908. And then the SRF disbursement for number 29, and invoice through May 30th for $34,551. And then the SRF disbursement number 30, Thielman construction pay, $377,901. So that's the three disbursements that we have.
Do they have to approve them all separate?
Are they all to the same entity?
No.
Just not. Be the engineers and
Construction.
I would do them separately then.
Okay. So disbursement number 28 for $18,908.
So I'll make a motion to approve disbursement 28.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, number 29 is Commonwealth invoice for $34,551.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the third one is number 30, the Thielman construction for $377,901.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Are they done with all the connections?
Yeah. They're putting a still on it today, and then, we're hooking the flow meter in the well house 3 there. It's coming together, we got the mixer in the tower, it's operational. I have a feeling it's gonna be completed on time.
Okay.
I do.
They can help get out
Probably
your
just
shot.
jinxed myself. But it's, everything's going good.
Good.
Yeah.
There were two things Amy brought up to me that I kind of went ahead and approved. Some pipe in the filter system needs to be longer. So there's gonna be a change order to come through for that. And I said, don't really wanna stop the project and fight with the company that built it. But we can go ahead and approve it as long as we go back after the company and expect them to cover the cost. Because it was their design screw up. But I don't wanna mess around for a month or extend the project out because we're dickering over something like that that's actually it's a company's problem.
Air scour, wasn't it?
Yeah, something, I don't quite understand it. And she agreed with that and didn't have a problem with doing that.
I think the pipe wasn't high enough,
No,
so
need an extension on it.
it sprays water out and then the blower blows air into it, which creates that iron will oxidize and then will filter out through the filter.
So to me, that's a design flaw that they should have caught. Amy even agreed with that.
So I think they know that.
So we can do the change order and go back to them after the fact and say, you guys screwed up, you should have caught it, and now we want reimbursed for it.
Would Commonwealth have to do that?
Yeah, and they will. I made sure of that before I said, yeah, let's go ahead and not stop the progress, you know.
Well,
Extension was.
Amy's
Yeah,
She-
yeah, she's
Yeah.
kind of,
As long as we got her on board.
And then on the filter, the top of it, they were supposed to put a gasket on it when they mounted the top onto the tank. They didn't have it, they put a special caulking around it. And they didn't want to put the gasket in because they say the material's good enough to hold it. They only offered an extra year warranty. And I said, we won't consider anything under 5 years. They have to give us an extended 5-year warranty, or they have to put a gasket in. It's just plain and simple. That's only fair to us.
Yeah.
If they feel their product's that good, it shouldn't be a problem. But she couldn't believe they only gave us an extended 1-year warranty. Is what they offered. And I don't agree with that. So we'll see. She hadn't heard back from them. That was just the other day that I talked to her Tuesday, I think.
Well, the only other thing to do would be how much are they taking off, because
Yeah.
they didn't give us a system that was for spec.
Mm-hmm. That's just it. So. Anybody, do you have anything?
I'm just gonna throw out there, that's something not my business, but just thought. While Darren's here doing summer help, he has to use, not that that's a big deal either, he has to use his own phone for if they want him or if he needs them. Darren, that's already here, has the other walkie-talkie and the phone. Couldn't Darren use the walkie-talkie while he's here?
I would say so.
I don't see why
not.
You don't have a problem with that.
Darren-
That way you're
Darren's-
talking to him more than,
Well, he's still got his town phone,
Yeah.
Darren.
yeah, he still has
That's
that.
not a personal phone, the town pays for
If there's
it.
a situation, we can swap back and forth with it.
But
That
he
makes
shouldn't
sense.
have to use his personal phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 4th of July, or the
Oh,
next
yeah, we
meeting.
need to change the meeting
That's all I gotta say.
for July.
Did we talk about that?
We talked about we needed to change it.
That, maybe that's what it was.
Because
Yeah,
the meeting
we
would be
never
on the
did.
3rd.
Third.
That's when the fireworks and stuff is. I suppose there's fireworks in there, Tony? There's gonna be fireworks?
Yes, permit was approved today.
Huh?
Yeah, permit from the state was approved today. Not till 10 o'clock though. I mean,
Saturday, we've done it, you know, the Wednesday before, we've done it like a week later, if it doesn't.
The 10th? That's fine. Andy's available.
And Steve will be down on vacation, so we have to have that.
So we're gonna have it on the 10th then?
Got
That's
answers
Yeah.
on
The
shoes.
10th? Okay, July 10th?
Fireworks.
Is that okay?
I don't know.
Can you fit that in your schedule?
I'll
They
research
got
it, like, you know.
Yeah, please.
Are the fireworks on the
Yeah,
third?
I like that.
Third.
It's confusing.
Okay, is there
What's the date?
the 10th?
10?
Oh, talking with Stephen Ray and Gail, to go after grants for revitalization and stuff, we need to do a comprehensive plan. That's gonna be something that's required. And it runs between 30 and 50,000 with 10% match, which is 3,000, 2,500. So we need to kind of know, August is kind of the deadline to get started on that. Can you come up with,
We'd have to get that.
yeah,
$50,000?
yeah.
For what? What do they do?
They come in and evaluate the whole town, the water, sewage, all that stuff, and the buildings and everything.
Was it
Just
so,
a look.
Hmm?
so they're, okay, they
It's
come
a
in,
lot
they
of
evaluate everything, so,
And give us a plan, kind of what we need, what we can do, but it's required for any grants.
And they won't use that old one that we have?
No, no, you
Has
gotta
to
do a
be,
new
it
one,
has to be updated.
yeah.
And will it be with the same firm that did?
I don't know. I
Because
don't
I
know what
remember
the
Diane-
process is gonna be.
Diane was not very happy with that.
Yeah.
She kind of,
It probably has to be bid. It's kind of like the grant we got for the water, or for the sewage and stormwater, it had to be bid. So it's probably gonna have to be bid, so you aren't gonna know who, there's certain engineering firms that do that kind of stuff. But, you know, do we wanna proceed now or wait another year, or, you know, it kind of ties our hands when that's required.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it takes to do that, at least probably 3 or 4 months.
We have a lot of good momentum now, you know, to get it done if we have to. If we have to do it anyway, it just seems like we've got a lot of momentum right now.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't wanna lose that.
Well, that's why I tried to make a point to Michael, you know, with Gail.
Yeah.
Because you want to include, there's a meeting June 10th for the RED program, an update.
I didn't
You
know that.
didn't get it, Gail didn't get it, and the town didn't get it. So he's got a problem with all three of us. Yeah, you
I
got
got
2
it.
of them.
You're
Oh, aren't
special,
you so
Tony.
So, you know.
I don't know why, I didn't even know what it was.
You were supposed to share it with everybody.
And I had no idea what it was, honestly, didn't.
Mhm.
You're in charge, Tony.
They had a meeting, what, last 2 months ago, you had a workshop down
I
at
didn't go to the
Grissom.
workshop, but Jennifer, and Gail
Yeah.
went,
Mm-hmm,
and Charlie.
yeah. Charlie got it, but Gail didn't, the town didn't, and you didn't.
Well, would it be easier when they do their inspection, since you guys got a new system? That should make it go a little quicker.
Well, they're gonna look at all aspects.
The
And
whole,
then
the
come back and
town, the
say,
buildings, what's available, what, you know, what maybe we can look for, and that kind
Kind
of
of
stuff.
helps with the upgraded system then.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, it's kind of the same thing, and he kind of hit on that. You know, they like
I'm
to
sure they know what
see
that one-
somebody's putting money in, they like to see somebody sweating over it. You know, you can plan a million different things.
And don't do it.
And don't do it.
Yeah.
So they like that because then they feel like you're getting local time.
Yep.
So,
And you're committed.
Yes.
You know, because you're not gonna spend the money unless you're going after it.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's why I was wondering about the
Yeah.
time, even though, yeah, I think my bid was 18,000. Yeah, but if you're saying this is next year, I wanna do it anyway this year, you know what I mean? So I just
Yeah.
won't get that grant unless use my own money to do it, so. But it'd be nice if it came up.
But if you go through the foundation and there's not a
Yeah.
deadline and stuff for that, which I don't know why he doesn't know that.
He just doesn't
I-
want us to know.
Yeah.
just seen that comment on
Mhm.
that, so.
Because if there's money, we don't mind getting it, you know?
Yeah.
I would like that, if we could even do with the sidewalk, that half deal, you know, they used to do back in the day, you pay half the sidewalk, and the other, that'd be great. You know,
Now
50-50
just had
match.
to come up with their half somewhere.
Yep.
That's the problem.
And you guys are at $50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, for,
So do,
Yeah, and, you know, all the foundation stuff for the sake of saying, it's not just sitting there waiting to be spent, it's competitive, you know, and, because there's a lot of good projects going on all over. But they like stuff like this, you know, people that sit on the committees that make the decisions, they like stuff, you know, like that.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the littler one, Kiwanee Union Town, or it's not Kiwanee Union Town, it's Kiwanee Down. You know, that's actually local only for here. You have to be in Kiwanee to even get it. So that's the one, it's unfortunate, nobody applies for it. It's like, well, it rolls over to the next year, you know. Or, you know, it's nothing wrong with the people that have gotten it, you know, but it's like they can reapply year after year after year, especially if you got a year when nobody applies for it. Then it's like, we gotta do something, but we don't want it to go to waste.
Right.
But it's a good resource, and it's different, it's different now than it used to be, but now, it's, you know, there's granting that goes on year round. It used to be, you had, if you wanted over this dollars, you had to wait till this time of year, you had to do, if you wanted this much, well, it was that time of year, and it's grown beyond that now, so they have a lot of flexibility. They like to see a wider variety of different projects. And you aren't gonna get anything you don't ask, so why not ask?
Yeah. But to get any of these these major grants, we need to do this comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
But you're saying we only have to pay 10% out of pocket? or-
Yeah. They're
Can
running
the town
between
afford to
30
do
and
that?
50,000.
Can the town afford it this year?
Well,
That's
that's
what-
what we were talking about, that it would be 3,500 to 5,000, can we come up with that?
And I just got the dreaded email that our audit is coming up, which is another thousands of
Yeah.
dollars that they don't pay all the time.
Or is that something you can find in there?
The auditors.
No.
Oh,
For this comprehensive plan.
We could send them out of water and sewage. which
Rainy
the
day
audit-
fund.
The audit does too. We can't use rainy day Amberson because she was the.
We reserved it for the fire. Yeah.
So, even 5,000 isn't too bad. But the audit's gonna be 20 or 30.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna
But
say.
they gotta tell you where, they're gonna tell you where to get the money.
They want you to have a budget and go by it, but then they spring these big amounts on you.
So Phil, do we wanna, you in favor of proceeding?
Yes.
Good.
As long as if we come up with it, and it doesn't impinge on something else.
Let's make a motion. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Who seconded?
Jeff.
No, Phil seconded it.
Phil seconded it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just pick one.
I voted.
It does matter, the lawyer's sitting right there. It might not matter when he leaves.
Pick on Andy and I.
Andy, you got anything for us?
Just a quick update, 110 East Maple, or, yeah, 110 East Maple. I think since we were in here last, Marshall sent Brad Armstrong something, and then.
Oh, yeah. That was
Yeah,
one percent.
I've been playing phone tag with him.
Yeah, 'cause he
I
wanted
didn't
to
call
talk
him-
to you.
I didn't call him back, and then he called, so
His Maple
this is the one that used to be owned by Hackett,
Mhm.
and from the time I filed it, until the time we next came in, he sold it or something. So, at least he's responsive, and he had told you that he'd rent a dumpster and trying to get to it, so
Yeah.
hopefully there's something happening there.
Hopefully, because that was supposed to be, we'll be starting, next week, I believe.
Did you send him the pre-site letter, or did you?
Oh,
send-
he got a ticket. He got citation.
Did you take that to,
No, I
clerk,
just
or
sent it.
send directly to me?
I sent it directly to you, because
Okay.
you said you were gonna drop it off to the clerk's office.
Okay.
And if I was mistaken, I apologize, but.
No, that's okay.
Because he can photos and the citation, everything.
Gotcha, okay. So that's the only update I have. so.
Yeah, because we added him, because it was his dad, and then Juan said that no, it's actually transferred to him, so you just added him. I thought.
Well, I can add him as a party.
Yeah.
I'd rather sue him
I
separately.
don't know how you done
If, the difference is I can still pursue a judgment against Hackett, but I can't really get an injunction for them to clean up property they don't own. So,
Yeah.
the thing, if he's not responsive, then, we'll go ahead and proceed with a request for judgment on citations. But hey, I consider it a win when one of these people
Yeah.
actually calls. and
He
follows up.
He was
That's
really
better than
adamant that
most.
he wanted to talk to you.
Yeah,
I
that's-
said, I'll.
So I've held off formally pursuing it because I've been playing phone tag with him. I thought that was fair, so.
Yeah,
When he called in here to get on the garage sale map, so he'll have money in a couple weeks.
That's well, I tell you. I'm gonna garnish the garage sale.
Does she
Sees
have,
everything here.
does she have them? A few? More than people?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Good.
Yeah, we've had people calling.
Really?
Interrupting our time.
And then
Well,
we're still
for
watching.
years, I couldn't get 3 people to sign.
At least he called.
I
And
mean,
we're still watching the other one. When that money comes. Now, we got, judgment shoot
It was like 2 foot tall, that much more. It looked like-
Yeah, we still do it to clean it up. That's just a matter
I
of.
mean, I appreciate it more than that, but I feel so bad.
Okay.
If it goes through, and we can garnish the surplusage, they call it, that assumes that falls all the way through to the certificate holder that files the request for the tax deed. if for any reason they make another arrangement, then there's nothing for us to garnish. So, but yeah, that probably won't be a thing until September, October.
Yeah, okay, as long as they're keeping on the front burner, that way. Anybody else have anything? Phil?
When, two residents he called me. She has a tree in her backyard and she shared it with another neighbor. She wants to pull it down, but the neighbor refusing to comply. I told him, I ain't for sure, but I think, I don't know how you would make someone talk to you without getting legal advice.
Yeah,
And I told him,
it's a property line dispute.
to go from there because it's,
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, he
Yeah.
talked to me.
yeah,
And
they,
that's what I told him, you guys have to figure out where the line is
right.
and determine who owns the tree.
Yeah. Well, it's on the prop, they both share the tree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But
pretty
is
sure
it-
it's,
Is one more than the
I
other?
don't think it
or-
matters, as long as it's in your, even if, 3/4 of the tree is 1 yard, or
Yeah.
a little bit, you both still
But that'd be something
own the
handy.
tree.
Talking about a tree, but on a property line between two individuals.
Yes.
Yes,
One
Not,
wants,
not between an individual and town-owned
no,
property.
no. It's a.
Not sure it's your
It's a
business.
civil, yeah, it's not our business,
Yeah.
but it's a civil issue more than anything, that's what he's more or less told him. that, Yeah, we don't have anything,
No, we don't.
you gotta find your property line
right,
and then take legal action.
One of them
from
may
there.
have a nuisance claim or a trespass claim against the other, and if the tree falls down on someone's garage, one of them might have a tort claim against the other. But it doesn't really affect us one way or
It's their issue.
all right. That was it.
That was it? All right. We'll say we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody. You're always smiling, man. I like it.
Well, we're trying to get money from the county.